Today we're going to be graphing linear equations. This is section 2.3. Let's get started. Let's talk about slope-intercept form. If you remember, we had y equals mx plus b. If you remember, m was the slope, and b is the y-intercept. So if we had this equation here, the m is here is in the place of the 2, so 2 is the slope, and b is the is 3, which is the y-intercept. The y-intercept means that's where it crosses the y-axis, and that's where we're going to begin. One of the things that I really like to think about is this b here means is B for begin, okay? We're going to begin with the y-intercepts. We're going to start at 3 on the y-intercept. That means we're going to come right here to 3. Then the slope says 2. That 2 as a slope is actually a fraction, 2 over 1. And the 2 is your rise, and the 1 is your run. So we're going to rise 2 and run 1. We're going to go up 1, 2. And over 1. So we'll end right there. We can do that again. We're going to go up 2 and over 1. Or we could go up 2 and over 1. We can do this as much as we want. Next thing we do is we draw our line. And make sure that you put arrows at the end of your line. Okay. Let's do another one. This time we're going to have a fraction. Sometimes people freak out with fractions. Our slope is our fraction, which really isn't too bad. Let's start with the begin. The y-intercept is where we begin. We're going to start down here at -5 on the y-axis. And our slope says that we're going to go up 2 and over 3. That's what that means. We're going to go from here, we're going to go up 2 and over 1, 2, 3. Up 2 and over 1, 2, 3. And then we can draw a line. You can do as many points as you need. 2 is the minimum. You could do 3, you could do more. Something that you might notice though is that this 2 over 3, this could mean down 2 and backwards 3. Let me show you. We could come down 1, 2, but backwards 3, and we're still going to be in a straight line. And then we draw our line after that. Again, don't forget to draw your arrows. Let's do some of your homework together. Get out your homework sheet. We're going to do numbers 1 and 2. For number 1, we're going to start at 5. We're going to go down 7 and over 3 from there. So we're going to start on 5. And good thing that we have to go down because we can't go up really very far. So we're going to go down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and over 1, 2, 3. Can't really go any further, so we're going to have to draw our line now. And there it is. Don't forget to draw your arrows. So the next one. This one says we're going to start at -3, and we're going to go up 1 and over 2 from there. We'll start at -3, which is right here. We're going to go up 1 and over 2 from there. Up 1 and over 2 from there. Notice we could go down 1 and backwards 2. That's very valuable. There are times when you don't have room to go one direction or the next, so you can go backwards. Then we'll draw our line. And there you go. Let's go to a new topic about graphing. We're going to be graphing in standard form. If you remember from our Formula Madness, we've been memorizing what standard form is, and that's Ax plus By equals C. And so this follows in that form, where we have a 2 in the A it follows in the form that 2 is A, B is 3, and C is 6. There are two ways we can do this. I'm going to do both of the ways, and you can choose which one you want to use. One of the ways is to do a t-chart, x and y, and put zeros in and find the x and y intercepts. We put a 0 in for x or a 0 for y. So let's do this one first, where we put a 0 in for x. When we put a 0 in for x, 2 times 0 becomes 0, which really goes away. And I'll have 3y equals 6. Dividing by 3 on both sides, y will equal 2. So we put a 2 here. Now if we do this one, I put a 0 for y, so it goes away. And I have 2x equals 6, dividing by 2 on each side. I'll get x equals 3. Now I have two ordered pairs. I have 0, 2, and 3, 0. Draw your line from there. There you go. I had other students who thought the second method was easier, so let's do that next method. We're going to take this one right here, and we're going to transform it into the slope-intercept form of y equals mx plus b. That means we need to solve for y. This is why we learned how to solve for variables in previous lessons, called the literal equations. So that means we're going to move the 2x over, and then we're going to divide by the 3. So to move the 2x over, I'm going to subtract it. When doing that, I'll have 3y equals, this is not a like term, so I need to put my 2x first, plus my 6. That way I can have my slope be first, with the slope right there. Dividing by 3, dividing by 3, and dividing by 3, we have y equals negative 2/3 x, and these reduce down to 2. This we can graph. We can graph this at 2 as the y-intercept. We have it right there. And then we go down 2 and over 3 from there. Down 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3. Or we could go up 2 and backwards 1, 2, 3. Then we draw our line. There we go. Let's do some examples from your homework. We're going to do number 7 and 8. 7 and 8. Let's solve this one for y. That means you can do two things. I can move the x over there and then divide by the negative. Or I could move the y over there by adding it and subtract the 3 over there. I like the second way. I like adding. So I'm going to add the y over there, and I'm going to move the 3 over there by subtracting. So I'll have x minus 3 equals y. Depending on how you look at it, this doesn't really matter. I can just rewrite it to be y equals x minus 3. My y-intercept is 3. Negative 3, sorry. Negative 3, but what's my slope? What's the number in front of that x? It's an invisible 1, which is 1 over 1. So that means I'm going to go up 1 and over 1. Up 1 and over 1. You can just keep doing that, the corners all the way up. Then we'll draw our line. And there it is. Let's do the last one on this slide. I'm going to solve this one for y by moving the 3x over. So we're going to have 2y equals negative 3x minus 10. We want to put that x first because we want it to be the slope-intercept form. Dividing by 2, we will have y equals negative 3/2 x minus 5. So let's graph that. Let's pick in a new color. We're going to start down there at -5. We're going to go down 3 and over 2. We can't go down 3. We don't have room. So we're going to have to go up 1, 2, 3, but backwards 1, 2. So we'll go up 1, 2, 3, and backwards 2. Then we draw our line. And there we go. All right, now we're going to do graphing horizontal and vertical lines. We're going to just do this one by doing examples. Let's go look at number 13 and 14. All right, when we did our formula madness, the question was, if we have an x equal line, is that horizontal or vertical? And you memorized that this was a vertical line. It's a vertical line, and it goes through -3. So at -3 here, it is a vertical line through -3. Another way to think of this is that this is a either horizontal or vertical, and it goes through the x-axis at -3. So it goes through this x-axis here at -3, right along that line. So that would mean this one goes through the y-axis at -5. So it's going to be a horizontal line through the y-axis at -5. All right, let's review what we just did. We graphed some linear equations 3 ways. One, with slope-intercept form, where we graphed the y-intercept first, then we went up or down, left and right from there. The next kind we did here, and most everybody in my classroom really liked it when we solved this and turned it into an equation that looked like that. Others liked it when we did our t-chart and we put zeros in for the x or the y, and we found our x and y intercepts. And last, we graphed horizontal and vertical lines, this one being the vertical, because we're going through the x-axis at the particular number. This one being the horizontal, because we went through the y-axis. I hope this has been helpful. Goodbye.